Hi, this is a short demonstration about the ability in ThingWorx to give values from one object, thing, to the next object, thing, and how fast this can be done very easily and very convenient. So on the current screen, we see a thing called step 1. And this thing called step 1 has a property. This is the position. And as you can see, we can update this position to any value very easily. Additionally, we have check marked the icon for store this in the database. It's not required, but it makes it just a little bit more I/O intensive. So what we've done, this thing is based on a template, and the template is called stepper. And you see the template itself has this position. Now what we do quite easily, we create another thing called step number 2. And this step number 2 has also a property, position, but this time we change this step number 2 and the source is not independent. So we create a binding and say, please go to step number 1 and copy the position to step number 1 to the position of step number 2. So what we do is we copy the position from step number 1 to step number 2. And then we have additional thing, step number 3, which copies the value from step number 2. Step number 4 is copying from step number 3. So we are giving the values from one thing to another thing, just like a handover. And if you take a view on the relationship, you will see also this kind in the relationship. So if you take a look on the relationship and we're going to, for example, step number 13. Here you can see step number 13 depends on 12, 11, 10, and then it goes up to the front to step number 1. And this depends on the thing template. So this is just because that we copy the value from one step to another. I want to show you right now in one of the mashups how this will change. So you see in the top step number 1 and in the bottom you see also step number 1. If we're changing the value of step number 1, for sure you see at the bottom exactly the same. But if we go to step number 2, which is now a different object, you see now this is object number 2. And if I change just the value on object number 1, you see immediately also the object number 2 changes. And it doesn't matter more or less how many objects you're putting here. So if we go to step number 18, I think this is the last one I have. So now we see the value of step number 18. And if again I go on step number 1 and changing the value here, you see it immediately changes to step number 2. So going to 39, just to give you an impression. So step number 1 is 39 and step number 18 should also be 39. So we're going back here and searching for step number 18. Just to make a verification, go into the properties and we see this is also 39. Yeah. And so this is a small example about how to copy values just from one thing to another thing, very easy and very fast.